I've just had another drop word from God. Um, the reason why we're in this terrible position today is because, a lot of these scientists, they don't know God. And, I'm saying to them, you got to know your enemy before you actually, start. This is to the Goyim. I call them the Goyim now, the people who think they're Jews and they're not. Actually, it's the other way around. It's supposed to be for non-Jews, what the Jews say to us, but these Jews are not real Jews, these evil ones. What was I saying? I forgot. Yeah, the reason why we're in this position is because, like, the meat of the word was never sought with God. Like the meat means, like fervent believers, they're like outward. And this plays again into the Masons, like where it's more of an outward form of the word and not really having a relationship with God. And you could accuse Jews of this as well, that they lack that relationship with God, the Holy Spirit and stuff, where they're getting into the spiritual meat of the word, and having a direct relationship with Him. This is where like the in-betweeny stuff, the tweening in between the words happen, and if the scientific side of things, like knew all this, they wouldn't have messed about with half the stuff, to do with human beings, because human beings are divine. They just think that, like we walk in carcasses to be experimented on, and we're not. We're divine human beings, and like it says in the last word, to do with the tabernacle, the pineal gland, the link between that, and, I was been listening to stuff about that. I don't know if it's Jacob's ladder, like where all the angels or whatever went up and down, or whatever, and going on about Abraham. I'm still learning about that at the moment. You can start anywhere, by the way, in the Bible. God's quite crazy in his mind anyway, and it's usually the same story. Like where nasty things rise up and then God tears it down with his people and himself. But if like the scientific, because they're a kind of religion unto themselves, to be honest, and you've got all the elements of alchemy and like the science bit, and the way they can use sorcery and things like that to manipulate things, and they're actually encompassing all of that as well. If they only knew about God on top of that, he wouldn't have restricted it. As long as they knew the meat of that word and the value, he may have been able to reveal more. But because like it's not blessed by him, because it's anti-human, it's going to come down and be seen. And they better start actually reviewing, where they're at, because like it ain't none of their works are going to be blessed, but it will come out into something else. It will evolve, into something else. I just hope these men don't forget God in the future. This must keep going in the future, because if you don't have reverence for God, you've got nothing. All your life work is going to like fall to the wayside, especially if there's yeast in it, which is falsehood. It's going to make a lot of people look redundant and ridiculous after this is shown up to be what it is. But those, I feel that have been blessed by God will go forward, like it will be took into the next era. It won't be wasted, not even the bad stuff, because God uses everything for his glory. But you scientists and stuff, and you people who teach God, you get into the meat of the word, know your enemy before you try and take him down, because I'm telling you, you're on loose ground.